done my first ayahuasca ceremony like less than a week ago. I was not sure that I would want to do a video about it, and I didn't think I would do one this quick, but the message I received from ayahuasca was so big and it wants to be shared. It feels like it doesn't only include me, like this is about you too. Ayahuasca showed me what we are made of, showed me our true essence, our life force energy, who we truly are at the core. And this is what I want to talk about today. I don't want to talk about like my personal experience and what it means about me specifically, although I might open up a bit about it because I need to put in context. But it's really about the message that ayahuasca wants me to know and everyone to know about themselves. It's really powerful. I'm also not coming here to talk about what ayahuasca is and what to expect and if you should do it and how a ceremony happens and etc. Although I'm gonna talk a little bit about that too, just once again to put in context. So for starters, I just want to say that even if this is my first ayahuasca ceremony, like I'm not starting from scratch. I've been on a healing journey and spiritual journey for a long time. I've explored the depths of myself and the depths of existence, and I went into different realms. So for me, this ayahuasca ceremony was not like life-shattering and I'm coming out of this and like seeing the world in a whole new lens. Actually, what ayahuasca showed me, I had already seen it before. I had already like acknowledged it within me. It's just like she was serving as a reminder for me to really step into this for real this time. I'm coming out of this experience and I'm feeling grounded, I'm feeling good, I'm integrating at a normal pace, and I don't feel like it's gonna take me years to integrate this. But that's just because I've already done this type of work before, and I've practiced with 5-MeO-DMT, which is a really strong psychedelic medicine, back in 2021. And that first time when I did that medicine, that was life-shattering. That took me a year and a half to integrate, and I already had a lot of tools. I'm just saying this because I don't want you to go into like thinking, oh, I'm gonna do a ceremony and I'm gonna have the same experience as her, in a way that it's gonna be different for everyone depending where you are on your journey, and it's not a quick fix. So doing a ceremony like this can really shatter your whole existence, and coming back from this can be very, very difficult. It could last weeks, months, years, a lifetime, especially if you don't have the tools to really process what happened. So I'm saying this to be cautious about going into these types of ceremonies. It's not for everyone, and it's not for every stage of the journey. You might be ready for it or you might not. This is not the point of this video, but I just really want to mention that. What I also want to mention is that what ayahuasca does, or is, like her energy, is that she is there to show you what is not seen within. She is there for purging, cleansing. It's a very powerful tool. And the thing is, she can show you stuff. Actually, she's going to show you stuff that you have not yet processed. But if you're not ready to process it, what are you going to do with these things? Like, it could be hell, okay? So just like be mindful about that. Ayahuasca is not a magic wand. Ayahuasca doesn't heal you. Ayahuasca just shows you what needs to be healed, what needs to be purged, what needs to be cleansed. And what you do about it is the work, okay? Now, what I experienced, I actually was going into this ceremony thinking I would be doing like this big purge. I was like, okay, bring it on. What's left inside of me? Because I've done a lot of healing work, and I'm like, what's left? Show me. And I really went into this ceremony with this mindset. I was like, ayahuasca, I'm ready to see, show me. And the experience was really not what I thought it would be. Like, I did not purge, and we were 8 people or 9 doing this ceremony. We did 2 ceremonies over the weekend, and the next day, let's say, we talk about our experience. My first ceremony was very soft. I was like, oh, that's it, that's what ayahuasca is. It felt a bit like mushrooms. I was like, oh, okay, I thought it was more intense, you know. I was really going into it thinking it was more intense, but that happens often the first time that people take it. So the second night, ayahuasca really hit me. And I was like, okay, she showed me her true colors. She showed me what she's capable of. And so, yeah, the next day we talked in a circle about what we experienced, and everybody was talking about how they were going through big purges, like they were feeling so much pain and releasing so much stuff, and a lot of people were vomiting or crying during the ceremonies. And like, I'm the only one that did not experience a big purge. It was quite the opposite. In fact, what I received as a message when the medicine was in me was that you don't need to purge anymore. You're good. You've done the work. What I'm showing you now is what's behind the work. This is why you've been doing all this healing. It's to access this space. So what happened at first is when the medicine started to hit, I started to blend in with everything. So there was like no distance with my body and the outer world anymore. It was like I was just blending in with everything, and I couldn't know where I was starting and ending. And that's why I say like anyone could experience this differently, because for me this was blissful. I was in full surrender. I was like, yes, bring it on, like, and I allowed myself to enter this nirvana, this bliss. But this experience could also be very traumatic for someone, because it's like you're losing your sense of self, like you're blending in with everything. It's like you're dying a little bit, you know, and there could be a lot of resistance in that, and that could be felt like something painful for someone until they surrender. But for me, the surrender was rather easy, especially because of my past experiences. And so that's how it started. So ayahuasca lasts like a few hours. In that space, like throughout the few hours, I was gaining back awareness of my body. Like I was starting to refill my body slowly and surely. And as that process was going in, I was being flooded with pleasure, with joy, like with happiness, with like gratefulness. I was feeling so alive that I wanted to scream. I'm alive. Okay, that was the word that was coming up a lot. Like, I'm alive. And I was trying to not make too much noise, because, you know, you have to be mindful that there's people around and they're living their experience. But sometimes I was covering my mouth and I was giggling. Like I wanted to laugh so bad. I was feeling in my whole body this excitement, this pleasure. And it was like I was making love with existence. Like my breath was abundance, my breath was joy. And that's the relation I was doing. Like while I was feeling this joy, I was like, wow, this sensation is abundance. Like joy is abundance, pleasure is abundance, love is abundance. Like it's all the same thing. And this is me being connected to the energy force, the like force of creation, which is also me. The energy through which I am created is the energy of expansion, of abundance, of all that is. It's big. It like the universe, source, like God creates infinitely, and I am created through that lens. Although in our everyday life, we have learned to be in contraction, to be in fear, to be in limitations, to be in scarcity, like all these things that keep us small, that keep us separate from the world. And there's no contraction and expansion that can coexist like simultaneously. If you're in contraction, you're not expanding. If you're expanding, you're not in contraction. So every time you're feeding a fear, you're feeding a limited belief, you're in that space. And so during my experience with ayahuasca, she allowed me to fully plunge into this space of expansion, of everything that I am. I was understanding at that moment that this is my essence, this is who I am. Like I've been on this healing journey for a long time, and in this last year I really committed to stepping into like addressing every blockage I had. I spent 3 months off grid doing healing work on a daily basis, like without any medicines or anything. It was just me with myself, crying the life out of me, feeling everywhere where it's painful in my body, doing, like, committing to the work. It was so hard, so uncomfortable, and there was days where I was exhausted. I was like, when does this end? Is there another side to it? Is this actually benefiting? Like you don't really know when you're in the midst of it, like what's on the other side of it. But I just knew that was work that had to be done. And what ayahuasca was telling me is like, hey, I don't need to show you how to purge. I don't need to show you what to purge. She was not telling me like there's nothing left and you're clear and you're all healed and everything's perfect, but that like you have all the tools already. What I want to show you is your greatness, your bigness, because you've been keeping yourself small. You've been living in an identity like based on healing. So it's like I've done so much healing work that I kind of created an identity around like I am someone that needs to heal. There's always things to heal, and I'm always in this mindset of like, oh, what needs to be healed right now? But what ayahuasca was showing me is that you're not just doing healing for healing. It's because the more you shed layers, the more you take out the gunk, the more you meet your true self, the more you discover this essence that's underneath, that's always been there, your peace, the love, the bigness. And this is actually why I started this channel. This is actually what the topics I talk about on this channel. I want to offer people tools for them to know how to heal themselves, to know how to go into these uncharted territories within themselves, so they can stop being into this contraction of like feeling stuck, feeling hopeless, feeling limited. Because I know through my own journey that the more I was healing, the more I was opening, and the more possibilities were there, the more I was feeling who I truly am at the core of it, underneath all the beliefs. And so ayahuasca was like, I'm showing you this right now. I'm showing you who you truly are so that you start truly stepping into that. She was showing me how I've been actually keeping myself small. I was actually scared to step into my greatness, scared to believe that I had that in me. Mainly, this is what I want to share with you today, like that this energy is your birthright. There's also this that was coming up, like I was hearing, you are worthy of being in this space. You deserve this, because there's a story inside that thinks that I'm unworthy, or just that I don't deserve this bigness, or like it's not for me. You know, all those stories that are playing small. I know you understand what I'm talking about. And this is it, like, she didn't teach me anything. And I'm not telling you this, like, I can't teach you to be into your joy and to your abundance. I can't teach anyone as much as no one can teach me. First of all, we can be taught this because we don't need to learn it. We already know it. It's already here. We just need to remember it. And this is what Aya showed me. She's like, she allowed me to remember what was already there. And I am telling you now to ignite that memory of what's already within you. And the process of embodying this energy is where it's at. It can take time, can take years. It could be very quick too. Don't put limitations on yourself. Like, I heard some stories of some people that really like switched timelines like this. Like, they received an information around like what I'm talking about, and shortly after, like, they really stepped into a new timeline and things were moving quickly. For me, my process was a bit slower, and it can be that for you or not, but really, like, don't put yourself limitations. And this is what I'm learning to do now. Like, I'm like, every time I'm putting myself limitations on something, even like my YouTube channel, I'm like, yeah, okay, it's gonna be a process, it's gonna take time. I'm like, hey, this could switch tomorrow. Stop like limiting yourself. And I'm seeing where I'm keeping it, like, I'm scared of like seeing bigger. I'm scared of stepping into who I truly am. And just know that, like, in the process of stepping into this infinite joy that lives within you, you will be shedding everything that's not in alignment with that. Like, that's the work. That's how it works. And I guess I'm sharing this because I want to remind you that it's worth it. Like, it's so damn worth it. And sometimes it's hard because we feel so lost and we're doing all this work and it feels like it never ends and there's always stuff to heal and it's just like so exhausting and like sometimes we feel like a victim, but it's so worth it. And there's another side to it and you get to reap the benefits. And if this is you, that you've been doing a lot of work and you're watching this video, this is your sign to like start nourishing that sense of like worthiness to be in a space of abundance, because this is what you are. And who does it serve to keep yourself small? Like for me, if I'm keeping myself small, if I think that I'm unworthy and it's just reserved for other people, well, it's gonna be a lot harder for me to show up doing videos. Like I'm not gonna be creating as much. I'll be spending more time distracting myself. And when I know myself to be abundant, when I connect to the pleasure, to the love, to the infinity, this is the space in which I'm creating a lot more, I'm sharing a lot more, I'm doing videos like this. And it's not only benefiting me to be into this space, it's benefiting everybody that I touch. It's benefiting the world, basically. And so ask yourself, like, what is the impact of keeping you small like that? What's the point too? Like, what are you doing it for? You don't need to live into this self-made prison. You can free yourself from it. We're here for that. I truly believe that we come here to discover who we truly are through what we are not. How would, let's say, abundance know itself to be abundant if that's all it knows? Versus abundance experiences contraction, experiences fear, experiences lack. And then it breaks free from it, and then it can fully experience what it is because it saw what it was not. Because it met lack, it knows what abundance is. And I feel like this is what we came here for. This is the evolution we're going through. Like we're coming here and we're experiencing everything that we're not, all this pain and all this sorrow and all this darkness. And that doesn't mean it's not part of us. Like as humans here, we hold both inside of us, but we are experiencing it so that we can break free from it and really, really know who we are. And so this is your birthright, to connect to this energy. This is what you came here for. This is what you came here to magnetize around you. This is what heals the world. We can feel like, yeah, but there's so much people are suffering, there's so much hatred in the world, there's so much violence. Like, who am I to be like, oh, let me be in this abundant state? Well, you're benefiting the world because like every individual that heals is allowing the frequency of the world to become more and more in that space, and other people to connect to this space too and to remember who they are. Start seeing possibility where you would have seen limitation. Start seeing love where you have seen fear. That too is like, since I came back from ayahuasca, I'm like, okay, I'm learning how to pour joy into everything, even the hard moments. How can I pour joy into this? How can I pour abundance into this situation? I hope this message is hitting at the right place and that you will come out watching this video feeling inspired, and that you will know that you have access to this, and if you don't feel it right now, it's just a matter of time. Keep doing the work. If you're interested in this type of topic, like talking about self-healing, having more tools to navigate this kind of work, give me a follow. Like, I have so much I want to share about this. Like, this is my life's work. Like, I understand the depths of it, and I just want to bring of that more forward because we were not taught this in school. Like, they didn't teach us how to understand our emotions and how like stuff gets stuck and trauma happens, and then from trauma there's limiting beliefs, and from these limiting beliefs like how everything is just an illusion, kind of like self-made illusion that we live in, and that is so painful and limiting. They didn't teach us how to know ourselves, how to discover ourselves, how to connect to our true nature, because that's the thing. We got disconnected through like all this fear and these things that keep us away from nature. We live in societies and a culture that is very disconnected, and that's why we are suffering so much. And like I hold this in my heart so deeply. Like this is what I want to share. Like this is what I want to help the world with. This is what I want to bring forward, like this liberation back to our true nature so we can work with nature. It's so important to do this work, and that's why I'm just so grateful that ayahuasca kind of gave me a nudge and that was like reminded me like, yes, this is it, like you're on the right path. Like in the last year I've got a lot of insight around this already, around this energy of abundance and of pleasure, and there was moments where I felt it a lot, but this is like step fully into it. Now it's the time you step fully into it, and I hope through me embodying this it will shed on you too. With all my heart, I'm sending you so much love and so much courage for the path you are on. And if you have any questions about ayahuasca or anything, basically drop them in the comments. And if you like this type of subject, please subscribe to my channel and give my video a thumbs up if it inspired you, if you liked it, and talk to you soon.